To call the Town Council Public Forum for Monday, August 13th, 2018 to order. We have some speakers tonight. I'm going to call, I believe it's Thomas, N-A-N-O-H-Y. Thomas, please come forward and give your address.
Hi, my name's Tom Nanch, 448 Ritter Street West.
There's no rush tonight, but try to stay within 3 minutes, okay?
Do my best.
Okay.
I have a paper here I'd like people to look at if you want to pass it around. My question is, I've been down to the Stratford seawall. I see it's all posted now, no fishing. That's a public land trust area. I've talked to the state. They told me public land trust. This paper I gave you states what public land trust is. How could the town of Stratford tell me that I can't use a public land trust area? I'm not allowed to go there. I'm not allowed to fish. The police officer told me nothing. You got to go. So if it's a public land trust, I'm not on your sidewalk. I'm not on the seawall. I'm on the other side where the rocks are, 10 feet of the mean high tide line. Why am I not allowed to fish there?
Are you asking us a question?
That's a question.
No, we don't. You just talk here, okay?
Oh, okay. Well, I want that addressed. I was told I can go down to Long Beach, which I did. People were down there swimming. No lifeguards. They told me, you want to go fish? Even the police officer said, go down the other end of the beach. I says, what about this end of the beach? No lifeguards down there either. Nothing happens. I tried to talk to the mayor in the office. 5 times I went. The fellow Rick behind the desk, I asked for an appointment. I still have yet to get one. When her secretary came out, he keeps telling me, you tell me everything that you want to say. I'll tell her. Well, what's the point of even making a statement if I can't get an appointment to see the mayor? So I just kind of want these things addressed. You know, that's state property. It's not town-owned. It's a public trust area. Why is the town of Stratford taking over on that, making the laws for it? Thank you. Have a nice night.
Thank you. Next speaker is Gerald Gray. Gerald, please come forward and state your address. 3 minutes, please.
I'll give it my best. Gerald Gray, 29 Shoreline Drive, Stratford. I've given a hard copy to everyone of what I'm going to say tonight, along with the other material which I would like put into the minutes. I earlier today submitted to Stratford Star a letter to the editor, which I am presuming will not be published. And as I have discovered that the Star has put a block on my online submission of any reply responses to the online reply to letters items, even as Star allows others' replies to be published online, something I find to be most disingenuous and lacking in journalistic integrity, as Star has permitted Joe Pedotto, under his own name and under the cover of his alias Alta Vista, to online slanderously, libelously make outrageous false claims about me, including his stating that I have a criminal record for kidnapping, that I tried to steal my mother's estate, etc. And as this current town council administration has done away with the portion of the meetings in which council members respond to public forum, I have no opportunity here to get any feedback from the few town council members who bother to show up for the public forum portion. I am going to read here my letter to the editor of Star, and I am presenting you town council members a hard copy submission of my presentation, along with document material for entry into tonight's minutes. Letter to the editor of Star. As I write this letter, midterm primaries are scheduled to take place this week. Because Star's word number limitation imposes constraints upon expansion beyond only cursory mentions, I will thus here mimic the shotgun style of our departed justice warrior, George Mulligan. However, my comments here are not unrelated to the 2018 elections of Stratford probate judge and Stratford, Connecticut senator of Stratford's 121. Currently, those positions are held by probate Judge Alberg, an elder law attorney who replaced King Kermay, he being the almost 4-decade ruler over his court who was forced out by required age 70 retirement, and who now continues on in his usual manner as law firm partner with his son, attorney Chuck Kermay. The other position, that of Connecticut Senator, is currently held by Attorney Kevin Kelly, politician attorney whose long time and extensive resume includes ownership of an elder law firm practice, Stratford town attorney, co-chair of Connecticut's Aging Commission, etc. This past month, I have been interviewed twice by Channel 12 in 2 rallies in my meeting with U.S. Senator Richard Blumenthal and other local and Connecticut lawmakers, politicos, re the predatory, collusion, collaboration, corroboration, complicity, and conspiracy, and the deeply entrenched corruption of the courts, judges, attorneys, municipalities, in the rapacious, unlawful, illegal, criminal perpetration of property and asset seizure by and via the crony judges, attorneys, courts, and the 3 so-called courts of equity, these being Property Matters Foreclosure Court, the Family Divorce Court, and the Probate Elder Law Court. Both Stars Melvin Mason and Connecticut Post John Bergeson will not report anything of the situation of Stratford's Baldwin Senior Center Director, Diane Petersky, having been over 2 months ago taken out of the center by authorities and placed on permanent suspension, for which she is still getting paid salary while not working. I just learned via the current issue of Star that the property my mother Dolores Gray and I co-own, the property which houses Nature's Way, this being the business Mom and I co-created together from scratch back in 1971, and which has been stolen, seized from us via the probate case, which was initiated here in Stratford by Kevin Kelly and his crony Judge Kermay back in 2009, has been sold by probate court so as to continue the unjust self-pocketing by interested parties of the entire multi-million body of assets that my mother and I co-created over our 4 years of 60 to 80-hour, 7-day work weeks at our beloved Nature's Way. Town of Stratford is also currently court seeking to take our Stratford beachfront cottage, which Mom cash purchased back some 40 years ago.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. The last speaker is Mr. Frank Parody. Frank, please state your address, please.
My name is Frank Parody. I live at 798 East Broadway. Thank you all for being here tonight. I wish more people would show up, but I guess that's a common refrain. Unfortunately, other people were scheduled to come up and discuss some issues, but there must have been some lack of availability. Again, I just find it difficult to come here and talk, having done this for about 5 years. And in this current year, unfortunately, one likes to have a dialogue as opposed to a monologue. And it's unfortunate that there's no opportunity to hear any of your voices. That's an important aspect that's been lost in all this. I recognize that time is an issue, and I recognize that sometimes some of the things brought before you are less than things outside of your control that you don't necessarily have the authority or the mandate to deal with. But some of those things are, and it'd be interesting also. So unfortunately, instead of being able to hear your voices and hear your opinions, your ideas around issues in this town and in the community and even in the wider community, unfortunately, we don't get that opportunity. And I think that's a great loss. That's a loss to the idea of a New England town meeting where the people could come before their elected representatives and bring their issues and then be responded to in that time frame on the record. And it's deeply unfortunate. I recognize that at times people abused the right or exceeded the idea. But it was simple people, and I'll speak to Mr. Kadim's idea. You got to see Wally's heart when he did that. And I felt that that was a wonderful thing to see, that the man cared about and what his thoughts were. And I would really sincerely like to hear any of your thoughts and ideas about the issues that are on your agenda or brought before you in this forum. But unfortunately, that doesn't occur. So it's something to mourn. It's a great loss when there's no dialogue between the government and the people. I recognize that, it's a frustration that the gentleman has gone to our mayor multiple times and not been able to get a response. A government that doesn't respond to the people isn't really a democracy. It's just not a democracy, ladies and gentlemen. It's simply not. It has the trappings of, it could even say to itself it is, but to the objective observer, it's not. It's very, very important to respond to the needs of the community and to respond to them individually, no matter what the time frames are, no matter what the issue is. It would be very interesting to have heard you. I thank you all. I wish you all the best. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, Mr. Parity. Before I close the meeting, is there anyone else who would like to speak? If not, I'm going to close the meeting, and I'll meet with you privately, okay? I'll be down in a second. If not, I'm going to close the meeting right now. Meeting is closed at 6:56.